This is game 1 between Team Rooster and Team Zerg. Infinity spawning as the blue Terran at the 12 o'clock position on Team Rooster. For Team Zerg, Logic spawning as the red Protoss at the 6 o'clock position. Our sponsor for this, the Reddit Team League, is the internet movie firearmsdatabase.org. Check them out, imfdb.org. This is the first game in the series. Unlike the moniker, Logic is not a Zerg player. I'm here, I'm Absentis, I'm co-casting with SeaGnome. Why don't you give us your thoughts on this match and this matchup?
Okay, PvT cross positions on Lost Temple, it kind of implies that it's going to be a medium to long game, because neither race is playing Zerg, which, you know, kind of implies that the game is going to be a little bit shorter. And I haven't heard of either of these two players. I was very impressed when I saw Team Zerg's roster, but Logic wasn't one of those players that I was, you know, particularly impressed with. I mean, you know, I don't really recognize him. I'm not really sure what I'm trying to say here. Looks pretty normal so far from both players, though.
Yeah, I've seen their names kicked around, and I'm not sure if it's just because I've casted these games before, or if it's actually involved in the community. Logic was throwing down a pretty early gateway, a 10 gateway. I am not a Protoss player, I am Terran, and 10 gateway seems pretty early. Infinity getting gas before barracks, so we might see an early Reaper, or just early tech of some kind. And yep, both players are now just going to be scouting their opponents.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I thought things were normal. I guess I thought that it was like a minute later than when I said that. But both players getting scouts in, they're going to see what's going on, and it's really nothing too interesting. Logic actually not really going to use this gate right now, and I do assume that Infinity will be using some of that gas, though.
Yeah, with that timing, could even go factory next. So as soon as this barracks is done, yeah, he will have more than enough gas to make a factory, although he will be a little short on minerals.
Yeah, Logic not getting up that core, and yeah, not really too much more to say. We'll see what Infinity pops down here. Well, yeah, he's just waiting on that factory money. There we go. So, Logic's still not really building anything else, just teching up.
Yep. Infinity did wall off against his opponent. Remember, this is pre-patch 1.1, so the Zealot build time as well as the Warp Gate cooldown are both well, they're pre-patch, so they're significantly faster. So the threat of a Zealot rush kind of looms in any Terran's mind. So there's a full wall off. He didn't get to deny scouting, though. His opponent does know he's getting out factory, so might be taking up to a starport. Might just be going tanks. He's getting a second gas, which implies, there we go, a starport. So pretty quick tech from the Terran.
And a reactor, interestingly enough, on this factory. So I'm going to assume that this isn't for Hellions, because, you know, if you want to go Hellions, you just plant it on the barracks first. But probably going to switch that off with the starport. Maybe get some medevacs. Vikings are kind of viable. Okay, now putting down a tech lab on the barracks, so I do think we'll be seeing some medevacs.
Yeah, I imagine that is going to be quite likely. Probably going to see another barracks go down. Yeah, we'll see the swap right here. And yeah. I'm curious, yeah, if we're gonna see another racks, because you can produce off 2 racks and that starport quite well.
Meanwhile, on Logic's side, he's getting up a road facility, getting up his, well, Warp Gate Tech just finished, so he will be warping in stuff pretty soon. He's got one of each basic unit, the Zealot, the Stalker, the Sentry. So, yeah, I don't know, going for a bit of a grab bag there.
Yeah, 2 gate into Robo is pretty strong against Terran. Getting out those Immortals really deals with Marauders, and of course the other gateway units in any kind of combination work really well. Infinity looks like he's kind of worried defensively. He's putting down a bunker behind. He's getting a bunch of Marauders and concussive shells. Unfortunately, the icon is not as shiny and pretty as it is now, because this is back in the past. So he's just producing whatever he can, Marauders, Hellions, and putting down his second racks. And his opponent, Logic's getting a Robo Bay, which is pretty fast Colossus here.
Yeah, unfortunately, he doesn't have much of an army, so he's not going to be able to hold off the drop that's coming. I do like the choice of going the Hellions to complement the infantry, because, you know, if you lose track of 2 Hellions, then you can lose track of all of your probes very quickly.
Oh yeah, definitely. With day 9, or with day 9's Monday Fun Day restrictions, this drop is going to go right by that observer. If Logic's paying attention, he's definitely going to see that drop. With day 9's Fun Day Monday, the restriction of no Marines, no Marauders, no tanks, I found that late game Hellion drops are incredibly devastating. Doesn't matter what race you're up against, you drop a whole bunch of Hellions and you can just take out an entire economy line. So yeah, it looks like here's the drop coming for Infinity. He's going to be dropping off right behind this assimilator, and Logic is now just moving back his troops.
Yeah, and unfortunately he doesn't, well, his army looks okay, but he's gonna stop mining for a little bit here. A bunker now going down for Infinity. Logic really needs to position his troops a lot better.
Yeah, Infinity tried to put down a bunker forward, but between the gas and the Nexus, his SCU was trapped though. Looks like these forces are going to get whittled down. This bunker rather is going to barely finish, and he gets units in just in time for that bunker to burn down. That Memorial doing just great work for cleaning up.
Yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, Logic did bring some of his probes back, and they're all going to die. That's a little bit of a waste there. Looks like Infinity might get away with the single medevac. He needs to pay attention with this.
Yeah,
no Stalkers
units yet. So, well, okay, that medevac is just going to kind of chill out. He's probably concerned back in his base. He is expanding now, and yeah, he's sticking with the same production units. Economically, Infinity is ahead here by 9 harvesters. Gonna get a tank and some siege mode. Same time, Logic is going to defend. And where'd that medevac go? Yep, safely going home.
Yeah, Logic taking his own expansion. Interestingly enough, Infinity did switch off a whole bunch of his add-ons. He's now got Tech Labs on the factory and on the starport, getting out that first tank now. And he also did get that second barracks, so pretty normal though.
Yeah, Ravens do really well in this matchup. They can shut down Stalkers with their point defense drones, and even recently I've been playing around with getting Hunter-Seeker missiles, just because I'm having trouble dealing with large clumped up units, and yeah, the Hunter-Seeker missile seems like a good thing to try out. But in any case, as you said, everything has Tech Labs down, so a bunch of Marauders, we're going to see tanks, and unfortunately Logic also sees absolutely everything. Sees all the production and sees that Maynard now, and oh, that probe I think is going to block it. Yeah, that probe was just in the way, and that command center could not lift down.
Oh, he's not really paying the best attention either. All those SCVs going back to the home command center, and yeah, still not doing anything about that probe.
Ooh, he is going for a drop, probably preoccupied with that. Doesn't have any units in range. He's finally bringing down a tank. And there goes the probe.
Yeah, looks like I'm a little bit behind you, but that's okay. The drop just about to come down here. He has a tank and an SCV in there, and he's probably just going to put up a turret with that SCV. It's pretty common. It's been used actually all throughout the game, including in the beta. This kind of drop, just tank and SCV and sometimes some Marines.
Yeah, Infinity would probably he'd do better if Logic didn't have a Colossus. I checked his vision really quickly. So sieging up right now, gonna attack, put down that turret. Logic though is definitely gonna have very easy access to the high ground, and if Logic had chosen another tech route, this would be even more devastating than it is.
Yeah, that tank getting a few probe kills. Actually, okay, there we go. Now Logic moving into position to take out that tank. Oh, yeah. Kind of slow on that, but still, he will be able to take this down without losing his Nexus or anything.
Oh, being a little hesitant, that turret also works against Colossi. Unfortunately, Colossi can only shoot down, so Logic took a bit of a blow. If you look at resources lost, Logic is behind. And economically, Infinity is ahead in harvesters and in income. Plus his mules, he's doing quite nicely for himself, and he's got a pretty good mixture of what looks like Marauders and tanks, and a Banshee at the very left, going in for some harass against Logic.
Yeah, very nice timing there. I just got my screen onto the Banshee when you mentioned it. We'll see how much damage he can do. He should be able to get probably a few probes. It looks like Logic's actually going to be moving out right now, a little bit inconvenient for him.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. Logic forced to pull all those probes, forcing him to stop mining. At the same time, Infinity is now moving out, so very clever, forcing that army to come back to deal with that Banshee at the same time, moving out in the middle with all his troops. That's a very nice mixture to have against that Colossus gateway mix. So those two Immortals can prove challenging, that kind of bio unit mix. Here he comes. He's got tanks for the high ground, stimming up, taking out that pylon, and now engaging full on with Logic's forces.
Yeah, those Colossi are going to be able to do a lot of damage. There's only the 2 Vikings out, so he's not going to be able to do as much damage as he really wants to against them. But it looks like it might just be enough with that sieged up tank.
Yeah, both those Vikings did go down, so like 1 Colossus remains now, and Infinity's forces are going to get wiped out. But still, yeah, very nicely done by Logic. He's now slightly ahead. His robotics facility, trying to get out that Colossi, unfortunately was unpowered. And yeah, Infinity's going for, looks like, some Vikings over to the left side. Continue to pump those out as a counter to Colossi. Yeah, Infinity just seems to be in a pretty good position, just pumping out a lot of units, and Logic right now trying to go for a push of his own.
Yeah, Viking's gonna try and harass the main, but there's not really anything to harass. Meanwhile, Logic gonna push in with his pretty solid force, but yeah, gonna be forced to retreat. It's too well defended with those tanks.
Yeah, tanks and Marauders do incredibly well against what Logic has right now. Even though he does have those 2 Colossi, with the Extended Thermal Lance, is not going to be able to do too much. Ooh, Infinity going to go drop down his... Nope, he's going to bring him right back up. His Vikings thought better of harassing the natural of Logic.
Yeah, gonna be forced to retreat, and that's okay. They got the main almost completely cleared out.
Ooh, if you look at Infinity's natural command center, he has about 5 AFK SCVs, just kind of chilling in the front. He doesn't have his rally point set, unfortunately. Those SCVs could be doing quite a bit.
Yeah, that's always something really aggravating to do. Sometimes you just forget when you pop down a command center, or I guess even more so for Terran because they're lifting it off sometimes. You just forget to set that rally point, and that just means that you're going to be really inefficient until you fix that.
Yeah, Logic abusing the high ground, going to take those Colossi and start working at a factory. Infinity's going to move out now. 3 tanks, a bunch of Marauders, and Vikings, very nice to complement. Stimming up.
Yeah, Logic's going to get wiped out pretty hard here.
Yeah.
Well, actually he's doing okay, but still.
He is forced to retreat.
Yeah, all his Colossi dead, and that's going to send him back pretty considerably.
Yeah, Infinity's he's still set quite a bit, even though he has, let me check his vision, 7 probes that aren't doing anything. They're being really lazy, just kind of drinking on the job. He has pretty substantial force right here. It looks like this is going to be the death push. He's unsieging all his tanks and moving out with his tank Marauder Viking mix.
Yeah, Logic just really doesn't have much at all from that last push. He lost so much, especially those high-tech Colossi, and he's only at the 1 Robo, which is usually fine, but when you lose all of your army like that, it's going to take a while to recover. And this push coming down, it's going to be pretty difficult, if not impossible, to stop.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of tanks, he's got ships to spot for them. Few remaining troops for Logic coming down, getting shelled really hard, stimming up those troops, and Logic calls good game.
And I'm like 5 seconds behind you, so I'm gonna wait for it. There we go. Big GG.